Today's episode of Retail Is podcast is brought to you by Valpak. Valpak is the nation's premier direct mailer, and it's sent to tens of thousands of local and national businesses to drive sales and brand awareness through different easy to measure, results orientated advertising solutions that work. So locally, you can contact Melissa Rogers at Melissa_Rogers at valpak.com, and that's VALPAK. Or you can call her 757-287-2227. And today we are very excited to welcome Jov'An, who is the founder and creator of Good Mood Treats. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Kylie. I appreciate it.
And I've also got here today, Abby, my co-host.
Hi. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So to get started, will you just tell us a little bit about what your business is and maybe how it got started?
Yeah. So my business, we are an online bakery and we're transitioning into a physical space. We specialize in cookies and brownies, but our main goal is to promote mental health awareness through our treats. So our slogan is Eat Your Feelings, and we want people to express themselves over a delicious cookie and know that they're not alone in this journey.
And so how did the two marry up to start with? That's unusual for me. I mean, I do eat my feelings. I know that. But how did that come to be as a business?
So when I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I was transitioning to go to college, and I really wanted to find an activity that I could do that, I could navigate through all these feelings I was feeling at a young age. And my grandmother actually taught me how to bake. And I learned through therapy that baking is a mindfulness activity. And I didn't know why it made me feel calm to create these things, but it made me feel good. And so I always tell people Good Mood Treats was a pandemic baby because I started sending out treats to my friends and family that were, just living in uncertainty like we all were. So a lot of people were like, can you just start a business already? Like, you've been baking for 10 years, just do it. So one of my friends actually reached out to me and said the affirmation that I sent her in the box, it really helped her get through COVID. And she said she hung it up on her wall, and it just reminded her to just keep going. And that's what married these two things together.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I know for myself, when I cook, it's the same type of thing. And I don't know whether it's just getting out of my own head, focusing on something else, but it does do, something mentally to me that does help. So
Absolutely.
It's really interesting. So the fact that you've actually had people come back to you and say, that it does help is a big thing. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you said you opened during the pandemic. So
Yes.
What, a year or two now?
Yeah. So about a year or two. I started when I was living in Rochester, New York, and we were all locked down, and I was actually under the name Flower Child, which was an ode to my hometown, the Flower City, and baking. So so I transitioned it to Good Mood. I felt like that was more aligned with my mentality, my mindset, and where I wanted the business to go for the future.
Mm-hmm. And was it like a home-based business?
Yes. So it is.
Okay. So and it still is?
It is still home-based. Like I mentioned before, we are transitioning to a physical space. We're moving to Greer, South Carolina, and we can get into that. But yes, it is home-based as of right now.
And obviously there's things that go along with that in terms of food safety and so on. But
Absolutely.
I'm interested to hear that, I mean, you said, was it Rochester, New York, was it?
Yes.
From? Okay. So have you sort of traveled a fair bit in your life?
Yes, I have lived so many places. Well, domestically, I move around a lot. I have a son, he's 6 years old, and I am very big on family. So a big part of the move to South Carolina is to be closer to my parents, and he can be closer to his father.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's happening very soon. I think it was in June, you mentioned.
Yes, a couple more weeks. Yes.
Yeah. So I suppose that's the advantage of having a home-based business, is that you you can do that. But once you moved to South Carolina, you said maybe opening up a physical space.
Yes, yes. We actually just signed a lease with Cartwright Food Hall. They're in downtown Greer. We're right outside of Greenville. It's a new space. It's a really cool concept. So it's like a food court, but a little bit more upscale. There's about 7 or 8 other vendors, and people can come and order, sit at their table, and we have food runners, and you come and get your food. And it's just, I love that community concept. So it's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of fun to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah. So it's not like prepackaged. You're talking about fresh cookies.
Yes,
Ready to,
every day.
yeah.
So can you tell us, this is might be dangerous because it's getting close to lunch and I'm already hungry, but could you tell us a little bit about what kind of treats you have and the different varieties?
Oh yeah, for sure. So our best seller is the sweet potato pie cookie. So I think of everything resorts back to mental health. So with my cookies, I say, they're layered just like our moods, just like our personalities. We're layered, we're complex beings. So these cookies take simple ingredients like sweet potato pie, sweet potato, brown sugar, milk. You put that in a pie and I throw it into a cookie. And people just went nuts over it. They're like, this texture, this flavor is so amazing. So I decided to adopt that for all of my cookies. So I throw donuts into cookies. I throw strawberry crunch, real strawberries, coconut pies, anything that is another dessert. I like to combine them into a cookie.
Wow. Well, I hope we get to taste test before you move.
Yeah. For sure. For
Yes.
sure. I just created a peach cobbler cookie.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, that is definitely going to be a hit. So that'll be on the new menu. But I got you.
So do you have plans to maybe get your cookies into different retailers to sell that way, or do you already do that?
So no, I don't do that already. I was approached by a couple of other places. It just wasn't the right fit at the right time.
Mhm.
I'm still a one-woman band over
Right.
here, so it's hard to get into other retailers. But now that I'm expanding, that is our hope to get into other stores, especially local stores. I'm very
Right.
big on community, so that's like our next step.
And have you been to farmers markets and things like that?
Oh yeah, for
Right.
sure. I love farmers market,
Mhm.
Buckrow Beach. I like to get the local honey. I love using honey, and a lot of my recipes they don't have a lot of sugar. I don't like a lot of processed things. I like everything to be simple, organic. So using things like honey and agave and sea moss gels to really go along with promoting that good mood boost, because we all know you can't just load up on sugar and think you're going to be feeling good for maybe a moment, but long term, I always think long term. So that's why we infuse a few healthy things in there
Yeah. I
along with
think
other.
that it goes back to what you're saying with mental health.
Yeah,
There is links to what you eat too and how it affects you. So yeah, definitely with the
definitely.
processed foods and avoiding that and trying to go with sort of more natural products, I think helps with your mission as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank
Gosh.
you.
So when you get down there, like, will you be manufacturing from within the store, like the storefront, rather than doing it at home? Is that right?
No, I actually will be renting out a commercial kitchen. So right now, the other vendors, they have a bigger space and they have kitchens within their space. I have like a little kiosk since I'm transitioning from home based to physical store. So I do have a contract with a commercial kitchen where I'll be renting out and baking there. So no more home based cookies.
I'm sure just, to have your own, you might do a few.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
need to teach your son how to do it.
Oh yeah. Oh, he loves taste testing.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
For
So I
sure.
am getting back to being a home-based business for a second. In terms of knowing even how to set up your business and getting the right tools and education, where does someone start?
So I would say I'm a big YouTube University like alumna, and
Mhm.
I always start with a lot of research. Whenever I go into anything, I make sure that I know the ins and outs. So use your resources, use the people in your community, use your family, your friends. Somebody always knows somebody that knows somebody.
Mhm.
So I'm a big advocate of just getting out there and, accessing those tools. Retail Alliance was a really, really big help. Shout out to Retail Alliance.
That was
I
not asking
love,
you to do it.
love, love. I know exactly. But I'm serious. It came at such the right time. I was doing a bunch of pop-ups and I met a Retail Alliance member and she said, I'm going to put you in touch with Beth Cook. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. And 2 weeks later, I was in touch with Beth. I just graduated from the Crops course, which teaches you how to operate a retail space. So don't be afraid to take those classes and always be a student, always be willing to learn.
Yeah. Well, especially it was perfect timing for you, transitioning to a storefront to
Yeah,
get that before you move.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all online too, so you could, continue. I mean, especially all that research, all the YouTube, everything. Now it's so easy to access.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
exactly.
sure. Gosh, so I'm interested, like you said, you're going down there and you're expanding, but you're living in Virginia right now.
Yes.
How does that work when you're trying to set up in a different state when there's obviously like different rules and regulations and laws, and you're also trying to expand, maybe getting a few people to work with you? How are you doing all of this?
I know I ask myself this question every day. So like I said, it's just me, but my father is a really big help. My father and mother, they live in Greer, South Carolina, which is right there.
Mhm.
So they've been a big help. My dad, he has over 30 years experience working in his own business. He's owned a nonprofit. He's a financial advisor, real estate developer. So he has kind of trained me up knowing business. So it's not, it's difficult, but is if you have everything organized and you know how to multitask, it can be a smooth transition. So I make sure that I'm very communicative with the team in Greer. Like I'm constantly sending them emails. I am always making sure that they know that just because I'm here in Virginia doesn't mean that my mindset isn't in Greer. So
Mm,
marrying those things together, it's difficult, it's challenging, but it is possible. And like I said, I have a 6-year-old. I'm running a business and I'm moving. I have to focus on all my personal things as well. But
gonna
it
transfer
have
him, and yeah, it's
yeah, it takes a village. So
mhm.
I credit myself a lot, but I have to credit the team and the people, my family around me. That's what really helps.
Yeah. I think that's for any small business owner. Is this
Yeah.
you can't do it alone. And
No.
use the resources and any assistance that is provided to you.
Yes.
Gosh, so going back then, when you started and you made this into a business, can you name, like, just to help anyone else, like, did you have any hurdles that you had to overcome that, that you worked out how to do it? Maybe an example of something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So just with the recipes, like everybody in my family like loves my cookies, but just making it so that, you know, other people like making it a business is like a whole nother venture. So I definitely struggle with making sure that I wasn't overloading myself with a bunch of menu items. I see a lot of people starting businesses, starting, Instagram restaurants, and it's great, but you can't do everything. And I learned to keep it super simple. And that's why I focus on cookies and brownies. I used to do cupcakes. I used to do, popsicles and cheesecakes and so many other items. But the fun part about the cookies is that I can still make those things and just throw it in a cookie. So
Right.
I learned to kind of simplify everything. That was the hardest part.
Yeah, I mean, when you have big dreams, it's hard to sort of,
Yeah,
take it down a little bit sometimes.
exactly.
But it's, I think when you're starting off, even just bring it back down and then expand is probably
Yes.
a better way
Yeah,
to
I think
go.
that takes a lot of like discipline to kind of like narrow it down and realize that you are just one person. And I think that could be why some people aren't successful, because they try to do too much at once. So I think that's very valuable that you've kind of acknowledged that. And now you have been successful, and now you're going to move on and could possibly do more cakes and cheesecakes and cupcakes
Yes.
and send to us.
Exactly.
But also the fact that you've chosen to go into more of a kiosk style, which, it's a small space. So you are doing it the right way and testing things out and
Exactly.
starting smaller sort of and growing from there. But that's a good point, Abby. What's happening to your current customers?
Oh my goodness, my current I love my customers. I just had someone come and pick up some goodies, and she just sat in her car and she just like looked at me. She said, "So you're still leaving?" Yes, they're very sad. But after they say, "Are you still leaving?" they say, "Are you going to ship?" And I said, "Yes, we do ship." So
Okay.
that's been, their saving grace, if you will. It's like she's going to still be able to ship. I have like a loyalty program that I am developing along with subscription boxes, so
Mhm.
that those, customers that love everything that I create, they can get different variety of cookies sent to them every month. Hint, hint, Abby.
Nipple box.
Me and Kylie have such big sweet tooths. We're always like, I swear 2:00 hits and we're like, we want some chocolate.
Yes, I will definitely.
It's such a bad habit. So if we can find something that's a little better for us, that would be great.
Exactly. I got you.
I believe you said that, Abby.
Not to throw us under the bus or anything, but we're being authentic.
Exactly. That's what it's about.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So I mean, that's great that you can ship and stuff like that. I mean, does it keep the freshness, or are you having to like freeze things?
So what I do as far as shipping was something that I definitely had to learn the best way to ship. So with cookies, since they're such simple organic ingredients, they do tend to only last about 5 days. So that shipping period is very short. So freezing it beforehand prolongs that. So I freeze everything overnight and then I ship it. And on my website, we ship through UPS. So it has to be 2-day shipping.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you freeze it beforehand. So by the time they get it, it's not in a freezer pack or anything. It'll be defrosted by the time they get it.
Exactly.
It'll hopefully last another extra day or two.
Oh, yes. I've heard that some people, I wouldn't advise this, but some people eat these cookies after 2 weeks. And hey, if that's you, go for it.
And they're still alive.
Yes, it's still alive. If it's no mold, if it's not hard and gross, then I guess go for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Gosh. So, I mean, what is your long-term dream?
My long-term dream for Good Mood Treats is to really expand into the mental wellness spaces a little bit more. Like I said, that's my true passion. I love to bake. I love to create these goodies, but I really want to help people that also have, had to navigate through, these mental experiences, as I call it, because it's not an illness. It's an experience that a lot of us go through. So creating more programs, more opportunity for other upcoming bakers that want to use this mindfulness activity to open their own bakery. So that's my dream, is to use this as a platform to help other people.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there is other, whether it's different groups or bakers or people that you could, connect with. I think that there's a really good message.
I was thinking we just had our last podcast with Crunchy Hydration, and that is their whole deal. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
They're a sparkling water brand, I would guess you would call it, but they're so focused on wellness and mindfulness, and each of their flavored drinks represent a different chakra and how to channel that. And they're just so amazing. So I really think you guys could be a cool little combination.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like I have my crystals. I love all of that. So I definitely
We'll
gonna
connect
look.
you guys then. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, well, I think we're getting sort of close to time. I think, Abby, was there anything else that we wanted to ask?
I think we got to all of our questions, but Jov'An, is there anything you wanted to like say to the general public, to consumers or business owners, anyone, any last piece of advice?
Oh yeah. So I just want to say that I want people to really focus on, you know, being self-aware, being accountable, and healing. I think that our world really needs that right now. And I'm always going to use this platform to share that and make sure people know that I am a mental health ambassador as well, so that whoever wants to reach out and just talk about things, I'm here. I want to say thank you to Retail Alliance for helping me navigate through all of these business ventures. And thank you to Abby and Kylie. You guys are amazing. I had fun, and I just appreciate having this platform to share, good mood treats.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So you've been listening to the Retailers Podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, you can find more at retailalliance.com/retail-is-podcast or search YouTube for Retail Alliance. I'm Abby Cheyano.
And I'm Kylie Ross-Siebeck.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.